Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, thank you. Just a minute. Let me start the screen. Okay. So last class, what we are discussing about vapor pressure. So last class, what I differentiate about, just a minute, about the pressure, partial pressure, and vapor pressure. Hope you understand what is you mean by partial pressure and what is meant by vapor pressure. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me quickly just revise once again. Okay, please listen. Suppose in a container, closed container, two liquids are there. Liquid A plus liquid B. This is what in the liquid phase. Initially only liquid we kept it. Okay. Then what is the mole fraction of A? Suppose Na is the moles of A and Nb is the moles of B. Okay. So what is the mole fraction of A? Okay, sorry. Yeah. What is the mole fraction of A? Can anyone say? It is nothing but moles of A by total moles of A. Total moles of A means Na plus Nb. Okay, you know these things. Mole fraction of A. Plus Nb. Similarly, the mole fraction of B means it is Nb by Na plus Nb. Okay, the individual mole by total mole. See, till now we have only liquid. Yes or no? That liquid we consider two things. So what is the mole fraction of A? That we represent by what? Xa. And mole fraction of B, what is that represent? Xb. Yes or no? Okay. And this total mole fraction is always equal to 1. Okay. So second case. Suppose now take A plus B, A Na mole of A plus Nb mole of B is there. Both are gas phase it is present. Now the mole fraction of A, it will be what? Na by Na plus Nb, individual may be total moles of A gas by total moles of gas. This will be represented by a Ya. Okay, similarly mole fraction of B will be Nb by Na plus Nb. Same situation, the formula is same, but the notation will be different. If the constituents will be in the liquid state, then the mole fraction will be represented by Xa and Xb. If they are in gaseous state, it will be represented as a Ya and Yb. Okay, so again Ya plus Yb will be equal to 1. Okay, please remember mole fraction in liquid phase it is represented by Xi, and in the gas phase it is represented by Yi, and always the summation of Xi equal to summation of Yi is equal to 1. Okay, then let us consider initially only two liquids are there. This is liquid are A plus B. Okay, then what is the mole fraction of A? Xa. What is the mole fraction of B? Xb. Okay, now what will happen? Now we heat it, and after heating it, what will happen? The vapors will generate. Okay, and these are called vapors. In the vapor, what will be the composition of vapor? In vapor also, A and B both components will be there, because the vapors are generating from this liquid only, A and B liquid, so it will be generated. So in vapor, if you consider this thing in separately, if you consider here vapors of A and B are there. Okay, and what is the composition of mole fraction of A in the vapor phase? That is be represented by Ya, and this mole fraction of B in the vapor phase only, that is represented by Yb. Okay, any doubt till now?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Then please understand these things, because next we will going to understand, going to discuss Raoult's law, Henry's law, and according to that, many problems numerical will be asked throughout your chemical engineering. So this notation you have to understand clearly. Okay, let me once again repeat myself. Suppose two liquids are there, A and B mixture, then the fraction of this liquid is generally represented by XA and XB, where XA is nothing but Na by Na plus Nb. Okay, and XB is nothing but Nb by Na plus Nb. Okay, suppose now we heat it, then what will happen? The vapors will generate. Okay, now these vapors, suppose the vapor has constituents also A and B will be present. The vapors of A and vapors of B will be present, because here mixtures are, liquids are A and B. From this liquid only vapor will generate. So then what is the composition of vapor A in the total vapor? That will represent Ya. And the vapor of B means Yb. Suppose the moles of A and B in the vapor space, it is be Na1 and Nb1. Suppose it will be not similar as Na and Nb. Suppose in the vapor, the moles of Na and Nb are Nab and Nbb. Then Ya will be Nab by Nab plus Nbb, mole fraction of A in the vapor by total moles of vapor, and Yb will be mole fraction of B in the vapor by mole fraction of A in the vapor plus mole fraction of B in the vapor. Okay. Then what is partial pressure? Okay, first discuss this vapor pressure. What do you mean by vapor pressure? Vapor pressure means now we are heating, so first evaporation takes place. Okay. In the same time, due to external process, condensation takes place. The condition when it will reach, when this rate of evaporation is equal to rate of this condensation, equilibrium reached, there will be a certain amount of fixed amount of vapor. Or that vapor, what is due to this vapor, what is the pressure applied on the liquid? That is called vapor pressure. Okay. And what do you mean by partial pressure? Partial pressure means, suppose you consider only this one. Vapor pressure when liquid and vapor composition both are there. And partial pressure means, suppose you consider only this gas phase or vapor phase, where two gases are there, A and B. Then the gas of individual, the pressure of individual components are represented by partial pressure. Okay. And we know that according to Dalton's law, total pressure is nothing but sum of partial pressure. Or we know that this partial pressure I is equal to Yi into P. Okay. Please remember these two things. Formula most important. Based on this, many numerical it will be asked. Or we can say Pa is equal to Ya into total pressure, or partial pressure of B is equal to mole fraction of B into total pressure. Or we can write this total pressure is equal to Ya into total pressure plus Yb into total pressure. Yes and no? In place of Pa, I write Yap. In place of Pb, I write Ybp. Then if you take P common, then it will be Ya plus Yb into P. Yes and no? And again we know that Ya is equal to Ib is equal to 1. Same, 1 into P is equal to P, it will come. Okay, I just prove it. This Dalton's law. Okay, please remember these two formula. Okay, let's proceed to again our main topic in unit 1. We are discussing about vapor pressure. Okay, so can anyone say if we keep one jar, will take okay, suppose one pen jar or open everything, open pen is there, we keep it 1 liter of water. Okay, again in that same volume of letter we'll keep 1 liter of petrol. Again in the same 1 liter, same volume, we keep 1 liter of honey. Honey, for example, you know. Okay, so suppose the room temperature is generally 30 degrees centigrade. So day 1 we keep it. Okay, so after day 15, suppose say after 15 days or 7 days, let's say 7 days. After say 7 days, okay, again we'll measure this volume. Okay, can you say on which case the volume will be after 7 days, is the volume of this chamber will be 1 liter of water? Is
No,
this
sir.
chamber okay? Is this chamber will
It will
having
be
1 liter
no,
of
sir.
petrol? Is this chamber having 1 liter of honey?
No, sir. It will reduce very much little.
Yeah, it will be reduced less than 1. You may see.
But rate of reduction will be different.
Yeah. But my question is, the water boiling point, you know that 100 degrees centigrade.
Celsius.
Means at this temperature, water will change from liquid to vapor. Okay, liquid to gas state. Okay.
Yes.
So at 30 degrees centigrade, at the room temperature, why this liquid is decreasing?
Latent heat of vaporization, sir.
Latent heat of vaporization is what?
At constant temperature,
No,
state of the matter changes.
No. That is different thing you are telling. Can anyone say? Have you anyone observed this thing?
Yes, sir.
If you keep the water outside for some days, it will after some time it will remove. Okay, at room temperature only. Why that is happening? Petrol, if you keep petrol within 1 hour, it will be removed. Okay, because we know that its vapor pressure is its rate of evaporation is higher. Here rate of evaporation is lower. Here rate of evaporation is more or less. Okay, honey is higher thick one. So what makes its difference? We know that evaporation means what? These liquid molecules will be there. Okay, these liquid molecules, when it will escape from the liquid molecule to air state, suppose say, Jivan, please mute yourself.
Yes, sorry, sir.
So when it will remove from liquid state to air state, that is we called evaporation. Okay. In petrol it is very higher, but honey, you know, it is very thick one. Suppose the honey molecule, there is a thick one, very thick one. When this molecule when trying to leave out, these molecules will catch them. Or we can say the force between these two molecules are higher. So here it will be less. The second example, my question is, in the all of you are washing the clothes. Okay. So the cloth, what you are doing after the washing the cloth, you are keep it for drying. Okay.
We will hang it on some rope.
Yeah, you are hanging it. Okay. So why that purpose is to remove the water? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So by squeezing, you removed almost of all water. Still some water was there.
Yes.
So you know that water boiling point is 100 degrees centigrade. So how the water is getting removed? At 40
sir,
degrees
because the
centigrade,
movement between those molecules are fast enough that will be pushed into the air and will get carried away with the air.
No. Here you can say the Yeah, for that, let me show you. Yeah, that what you
I'm
explained.
not
na?
using perfect terminology, but
No.
somewhat
Yeah,
like
that,
that only.
yeah, that too, what you explained is very much correct. Okay. So let me show you this vapor pressure. Vapor pressure of water at various temperature. Okay, suppose this is the temperature. This is I collect from Wikipedia, and the same temperature in Fahrenheit scale, and these are the pressure scales. It means you can see at 40 degrees centigrade, the vapor pressure of water is this much atmosphere. Okay, it means what? At 40 degrees Celsius also, the liquid will vaporize. It has certain vapor pressure. Okay, we can't see it. It will not boil. Okay, it will not boil, but some vaporization it will still take place. Under it has this much of vapor pressure. Okay. See. So at 40 degrees centigrade, vapor pressure means what? The pressure exerted by the vapor. Here, what is this vapor? Okay. Outside pressure is how much? 1 atmosphere. Yes or no? Outside pressure is 1 atmosphere. So at 40 degrees centigrade, the boiling is not takes place, but the vaporization is taking place. That's why when you keep this water outside, this molecules of 40 degree centigrade also, there is some vapor pressure created by this, that will create by the water. Vapor pressure means what? The molecules are escaping at 40 degree centigrade also. And when the air we are flowing, in the dry air, we are just spreading the cloth so that it will come in contact. So at 40 degree centigrade also, whatever this cloth is there, in that cloth, there is a certain vaporization of water is taking place. Okay, at a very small rate. And the air, what this air is, what is this help of air? Why this, how this air is helping? This air is removing this water vapor. Once this water vapor removed means another water vapor it will come. Okay, this air it will remove. Then again another water vapor it will come. This concept, how this at less temperature also there is a certain vapor pressure. Vapor pressure is available at all temperature. But the concept is, see, at 40 degrees centigrade, it has certain vapor pressure. It means the pressure, the liquid molecules will changing to this vapor state, but the pressure generated is 0.0728. But outside atmosphere is 1 atmosphere. Okay. See, two things are there. One thing, vapor pressure want to go upside, but outer side the pressure we are exerting 1 atmosphere. Which is higher? 1 atmosphere. Okay. So the vapors are not coming freely. It will come but at a slow rate. But when we increase the temperature, you see, when we increase the temperature, the vapor pressure is getting increased. At 100 degrees centigrade, if you see what is the vapor pressure of water? 1 atmosphere. It means when we temperature reached to 100 degrees centigrade, slowly this evaporation rate at 40 degrees centigrade, this much atmosphere. At 60 degrees centigrade, this much vapor pressure. Vapor pressure means more rate of evaporation will take place. At 100 degrees centigrade, the rate of evaporation will be such that this vapor will create a pressure of 1 atmosphere. Now this vapor pressure is 1 atmosphere, external pressure is 1 atmosphere. Okay, so this external pressure will be equally balanced by this vapor pressure. So now what we can observe is this liquid layer will have less pressure on the, we don't have the effect of this pressure because this external pressure will be counterbalanced by this vapor pressure. At that time, what will happen? This air bubbles that air bubble will expand because we don't have, here we will have no force. Because this vapor pressure, it will adjusted the external pressure. Before that, external pressure was there. Due to this, these bubbles will not able to rise. Now at 100 degrees centigrade, this will having 1 atmosphere, and this atmosphere is having 1 atmosphere pressure. This would clearly counterbalance each other. So now this bubbles will have less force, and these bubbles will try to come out. That is called boiling. Okay, that's why we called it as 100 degrees centigrade. The water is boiling, because at 100 degrees centigrade, the water has 1 atmosphere vapor pressure, and this vapor pressure counterbalance this atmospheric pressure. Okay. Then the next question is it possible to boil the water at 40 degrees centigrade?
Yes, sir, it is possible.
Yes. How?
By
So
increasing the pressure.
Not increasing, by decreasing the pressure.
Sorry.
Okay. See, at 40 degrees centigrade, what is the vapor pressure? 0.0728. Okay. So we can say the vapor pressure is 0.0728 atmosphere. But outside pressure is 1 atmosphere. This is constant. Okay. So what is happening? We know that when this pressure and this pressure will be equal, then this liquid or these bubbles will come out. That is called boiling. So for the bubble to come out, in reverse you can see this pressure should be this pressure. If we decrease this pressure, external pressure, suppose this external pressure we create 0.0728. Okay, then at this, suppose this instead of 1 atmosphere, we use some vacuum pump and we reduce this pressure. It will reach to this atmosphere. Now you see the external pressure is 0.0728 atmosphere. At 40 degrees centigrade, we have vapor pressure this. And this vapor pressure and this atmosphere, it will counterbalance. So there will be less force on this water layer. So the bubbles, whatever it is generate, it will freely move up. That is called boiling. So then why we are using pressure cookers?
Sir, in high altitude, pressure won't be normal, sir. So we use pressure cooker there.
Pressure cooker in our home also we are using, na? So that food will be cooked faster. Yes or no?
Easily cooked. They can cook fastly.
Yes, but actual purpose was to use in hill station, na, sir.
Yeah. That is our actual purpose. That's why I am going to explain. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So according to this concept, you know that pressure is increased means the boiling point will increase. Pressure decrease means boiling point decrease. Based on this vapor pressure I just explained. Okay, pressure means what? External pressure. External pressure is 1 atmosphere. So we are using pressure cooker. Pressure cooker means what? I told you we are using certain pressure here. This pressure is generally 2.8 atmosphere something we are using, exact figure I don't know. This 2.8 atmosphere means what? We are using more pressure. More pressure means what? The boiling point of, suppose we say water. Here inside this water is generally we are preparing rice and water, na? Water is there. So here we see to this water we are applying higher pressure. So what will be the boiling point of water? It will be more than 100 or less than 100?
Less than 100, sir.
More than 100, na? See, at 100 degrees centigrade, 1 atmosphere is the boiling point.
1 atmosphere, yes.
Yeah, or we can
more
say...
More pressure, more boiling point, okay.
Yeah. At 100 degrees centigrade, let me explain once again. Please try to understand this concept, okay? This will not come in questions, but you should know these things. At 100 degrees centigrade, suppose outside atmosphere is 1 atmosphere. Okay, we are not using pressure cooker. Then this vapor pressure that is generating at 100 degrees centigrade, this is 1 atmosphere. The vapor pressure at 100 degrees centigrade is 1 atmosphere. Okay. So it means what? So external pressure is 1 atmosphere. This vapor pressure, it is giving counterbalance to this atmospheric pressure. This is vapor pressure, this is atmospheric pressure. 1 atmosphere at 100 degrees centigrade. Then what will happen? This water molecule, the pressure on this atmosphere, it will be no pressure that time it will be there. Okay, or you can say less than 1 atmosphere pressure will be there. So what you can see at 60 degrees centigrade, 80 degrees centigrade, you just go to your home and today you boil the water in your pan and you see first what will happen during boiling, this type of small bubble will form. Okay, but this bubble will not rise. Why they are not rising? Because suppose say we are 80 degrees centigrade and this 80 degrees centigrade the vapor pressure is 0.4675. Okay, at 80 degrees centigrade the vapor pressure is 0.4675. It means it has say here 0.4, here 1. It means there will be a certain pressure on this water body. So this bubble will not coming up. But at 100 degrees centigrade, this vapor pressure what is generated, it has 1 atmosphere pressure. So this 1 atmosphere counterbalance this atmospheric 1 atmosphere so that there will be less pressure on this water body because this 1 atmosphere is counterbalanced by this vapor pressure. Now these bubbles will rise. So that's why we called it at 100 degrees centigrade water is boiling. Now we understand. So if you decrease this pressure means what? Suppose we say 0.5 atmosphere. Okay. So suppose outer pressure is 0.5 atmosphere. Then what will be our aim? Our aim is to liquid the water, to boil the liquid. If you generate a vapor pressure of 0.1 atmosphere, then what will happen? These things it will counterbalance and the liquid will boil. Okay, so less pressure also the liquid will boil. Suppose now we are applying higher pressure. Higher pressure means 2 atmosphere. Then what will be we have to create a vapor pressure of 2 atmosphere. Then only this liquid will boil. So the question is, in pressure cooker, generally in pressure cooker, the water we are boiling now, the whistle is there up to 2.8 atmosphere. Suppose say some higher atmosphere is always there because it is under high pressure. So when this pressure will generate now, the liquid will change to vapors, and this vapor after getting more vapor, it will generate and it will create a pressure. So when this pressure will exceed this 2.8 atmosphere, or you can say this applied pressure, then suppose this applied pressure, this whistle bulb, suppose say it is 2.8 atmosphere, and in the pressure cooker we are increasing the pressure, and so the vapor generating, we are increasing the temperature, so more vapor it will generate, and that vapor will create some pressure. When that vapor pressure or the pressure created by this steam, it will be greater than this 2.8 atmosphere, then this extra vapor will come outside. Okay, so we know that at higher pressure the boiling point is high. Okay, suppose say we are using pressure cooker 3 atmosphere, then what will be the boiling point of water in the pressure cooker at that time? It will be greater than 100 degrees centigrade. Yes or no? In pressure cooker we are applying higher pressure. At higher pressure the boiling point will be high. Suppose say boiling point will be 130 degrees centigrade. Okay, so my question is, suppose we took two things. The rice we are preparing, one is at an open pan, one is as a pressure cooker. Same amount of water you take. Okay, same amount of rice you take. You heat both the things. You know that here the pressure is 1 atmosphere, here the pressure is 3 atmosphere, because we are using pressure cooker. Here the boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade. Yes or no? Here the boiling point of water will be more than 100 degrees centigrade. Suppose say boiling point of water is 140 degrees centigrade. Suppose say. Then why, if the boiling point is here is higher, then why the rice is preparing very quickly here? You got my question? Anyone? Can you please repeat my question?
So we didn't understood, sir, that one. Once you say again.
Okay. So we know that, you know that this boiling point of water will increase with increasing pressure and boiling point of water will decrease with decreasing pressure. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So suppose say we'll took two things. One is open pan and one is pressure cooker. Okay. So in pressure cooker generally the pressure it was 3 atmosphere. In open pan the atmospheric or you can say atmospheric pressure is there 1 atmosphere. Suppose in both we take equal amount of rice and equal amount of water. Then here what is the temperature at which the water will boil? At 100 degrees centigrade. Here at what temperature the water will boil? It will be greater than 100 degrees centigrade because we are using higher temperature, higher pressure. Suppose say at 140 degrees centigrade water is getting boiled. Then why we are telling that in pressure cooker the rice is getting cooked fast if the boiling point of water is higher? Now you got the question. Why cook time
Yes.
is less here? If it is boiling point is
Rate of
higher.
evaporation.
Same heat we are giving na, same heat we are giving. Okay, please think about it and come prepared in the next class. And the next question is, in the higher elevations, in the higher elevation, you know that in the higher elevation means or in the hilly area. In the hilly area, generally pressure is less. The atmospheric pressure is less. Then we told that it will take more time to cook food in hilly area. Yes or no? In hilly area, pressure is less. Pressure is less means what? Suppose the pressure is 0.8 atmosphere. Then at what temperature liquid will boil? 80 degrees centigrade, suppose say. The liquid will boil at 80 degrees centigrade. Then why the more time is it required to cook food? And why at pressure, when the temperature is higher, a higher boiling point is there, why it is food is preparing at less time? Okay, this is my question. Please come prepared. So, do you know these things? Previously you know these things. That hilly area will require more time to cook food. In pressure cooker, the heat is, the cooking time will be less. But why that is going on? Okay, please think about it. And whatever I explained that till now, that is the vapor pressure, boiling point concept, utilize those concepts, you will get the answer. If not, we will discuss next class. So, okay. So, here you see first. So, till now what we discussed, this vapor pressure will change with respect to temperature. Yes or no? This vapor pressure will change with respect to temperature. Yes or no? At 40 degrees centigrade, the water you are boiling. At 80 degrees centigrade, you are water boiling. In which case, more vapor it will come. Okay. The water I am boiling at 40 degrees centigrade and at 80 degrees centigrade, which case more vapor will come? If you are not getting question, then please reply quickly that not getting or don't know. Is it audible to everyone what I am speaking?
Yes, sir. It is audible, sir.
Okay, then my question is, at 40 degrees centigrade, at 80 degrees centigrade, in which case the vapor pressure will be higher? Or the more vapor it will generate? At 80 degrees centigrade, the more vapor it will generate. It means the vapor pressure at 80 degrees centigrade, more vapor generate.
It means it is directly proportional to the temperature.
It means more vapor pressure. Okay. At 40 degrees centigrade, yeah, less vapor it will come. It means less vapor pressure. In 60 degrees centigrade, moderate vapor it will generate. It means moderate vapor pressure. So we know that vapor pressure is related to temperature. What is the relation? The relationship between this vapor pressure and temperature. It was given by Clausius-Clapeyron. Okay, this is the name of scientist. Okay, he gave the relationship between the vapor pressure and temperature. Okay, what is that relation? That relation is dP0 by P0 is equal to lambda dt by RT square. Okay, where P0 is what? Vapor pressure. Okay, this equation, please try to remember most important equation, Clausius-Clapeyron equation. This equation or this scientist derived the relationship between this vapor pressure and temperature. We know that at more temperature, more vapor will come. It means more vapor pressure. Less temperature, less vapor will come. Means less vapor pressure. So what is this relation between temperature and vapor? That will be given by Clausius and Clapeyron. And this is the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. When P0 is the vapor pressure, R is the universal gas constant. Okay. T is the temperature. And lambda is the latent heat of vaporization. Okay, the unit will be kilojoule per kg. Okay. So please remember these things. Okay, this is the most important, one of the important formula that will relate the vapor pressure of a liquid with the temperature. It means at what temperature, how much vapor it will come. Okay, that you can tell by using this formula. So this is a differential formula. So we have to simplify this formula. Okay, suppose say at temperature T1, the vapor pressure is P10, and at temperature T2, the vapor pressure is P20. Okay, then we can simplify these things by integrating these things. So dP0 by P0 integration is equal to lambda by RT square dt integration. The limits will be T1 to T2. Here the limits will be P10 to P20. Suppose at temperature T1, the vapor pressure is P10 and temperature T2 vapor pressure is P20. Okay, then here we say 1 by x integration is there. What will be the formula? what will be the integration of 1 by x dx? It is ln x. Okay, so we can write ln of
Yes, sir.
p0. Ln of p0, and the relation will be p10 to p20. Okay, equal to, the lambda is constant, here variable is dt. Okay, so lambda and r is constant. So it will be dt by t square, t1 to t2. So let me write here. So ln of p0, p10 to p20 is equal to lambda by r. Here 1 by t square is that. 1 by t square means t to the power minus 2 dt is there. Okay, what will be the integration? We know that x to the power n integration is x to the power n plus 1 by n plus 1. So here it will be t to the power minus 2 plus 1 by minus 2 plus 1, or we can say minus 1 by t. And the limits will be t1 to t2. Then if you put the limits, it will be ln of p20 minus, in place of p0 we first put this variable p20 minus ln of p10 is equal to lambda by r. First we will put 1 by t2. Okay, first we will put 1 by t2 minus 1 by t1. Okay, so what will be the value? Here ln a minus ln b is there. Okay, we can write ln a by b. Okay, so we can write ln of p20 by p10 is equal to lambda by r. These things we can write minus plus 1 by t1 minus 1 by t2. Okay. So this is the final expression for Clausius-Clapeyron equation. Okay. So, okay, can anyone say why the what is the importance of Clausius-Clapeyron equation? Roll number 3.
Gives free energy to find out.
Gives free energy. I never, in the first time I am spelling, means talking about this word, gives free energy.
Clapeyron equation.
Yeah, Clausius-Clapeyron equation. Just now I explained, na?
Sir, that only, sir. To find out phase in one single thing, if you have two phases, find out the discontinuous between the two phases, no? In one single constituent, I think.
Okay, you people don't know what you are telling. Okay, so you know that with higher temperature, the vapor will generate more. Yes or no? If you increase the temperature of certain liquid, more vapor will generate.
Yes, sir. It will produce more vapor when the temperature is improved.
Or temperature is increased. Because more vapor will generate means more vapor pressure it will generate.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
If we decrease the temperature, then less vapor it will come and the less vapor it will generate. Sorry, less
Yes.
vapor it will generate. Less vapor generated means less vapor pressure it will come. So what we observe is that temperature and vapor pressure will have certain relation. That relationship was given by Clausius-Clapeyron.
Okay.
And that equation we called it as a Clausius-Clapeyron equation. That will give the relationship between this vapor pressure and temperature. Okay. And this is the expression. This vapor pressure dP0, P0 is vapor pressure equal to lambda means latent heat of vaporization, R is universal gas constant, T is equal to absolute temperature. Okay, this is the formula, relation between vapor pressure and temperature. So this is in differential form. So we can simplify this formula. Suppose at temperature T1, the vapor pressure is P10, and the temperature T2, the vapor pressure is P20. Then if you integrate it from P1 to P20, we will get this type of formula. Okay, please remember once again, ln of P20 vapor pressure at second point P10 is equal to lambda by R 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. It means what? Suppose at a temperature 30 degrees centigrade, we know that vapor pressure of certain liquid. Suppose we say 0.5 atmosphere. Okay, suppose we know that at 30 degrees centigrade, the liquid will produce the vapor that will have the vapor pressure of this much. Then by using this formula, then you can calculate what will be the vapor that will produce at 60 degrees centigrade, at 80 degrees centigrade, at 90 degree, any temperature you can calculate. That is the easiness, or that is the beauty of this formula. Okay, so suppose I gave you this example, I gave you this table, I show you this table. This is the standard table of what?
Of water, sir. Vapor pressure of water.
Water with respect to
At
temperature.
any given temperature.
Okay. So let us, the Clausius-Capellan equation is what? It will relate to temperature and to vapor pressure. Okay. So we just let us validate it. Okay. Let us validate it. Suppose say we have water at 30 degrees centigrade. Okay. What is that vapor pressure? This one?
0.0419.
So let us write it. Suppose at 30 degrees centigrade, the vapor pressure of water P10 is 0.0419 atmosphere. Okay. Then let us calculate, just a minute. Yeah, at 60 degrees centigrade. At 60 degrees centigrade, suppose at 60 degrees centigrade, suppose I gave you this data. At 30 degrees centigrade, the water is there, okay? Suppose the water is there, it will give certain vapor, it will give vapor, the vapor has vapor pressure, this one. Then I will ask you what is that at 60 degrees centigrade, how much vapor it will generate, or the vapor that will generate, what is the vapor pressure? How you can calculate? By using this Clausius-Capellan equation. Okay, let us derive this table we have. This table, it was mentioned at 16 degrees centigrade, it is 0.19. But let us prove it. Okay, how we can prove it? So the formula we will use P20 by P10 is equal to lambda by R 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. Okay, so ln of P20, this we have to determine. P10 how much? 0.0419 equal to lambda means what? Latent rate of vaporization. Okay, this data you have to find in the internet. Okay, you can find the latent rate of vaporization at 30 degrees centigrade. It is given 2429.8 kilojoule per kg. So lambda for water at 30 degrees centigrade, it is given 2429.8 kilojoule per kg. Okay. 1 by T1. T1 is what? Degree Celsius. We have to convert into Kelvin. What will be the Kelvin? 303 Kelvin. Okay. So 1 by 303 Kelvin minus, what is the value of T2? 60 degrees centigrade, so it will be 333 Kelvin. Okay, so this lambda value is this one. What will be the R value? You see here the unit is kilojoule per kg, it is there. Okay, so we'll use, okay, let me write once again. Okay, see here lambda is given in the question, or from the internet you can find. The unit it is given 2429.8 kilojoule per kg. It means what? The latent heat of vaporization of water is
at 30 degrees Celsius is 2429.8
kilojoule
per kg.
Per kg of water. Okay. Per kg of water. So R value, okay, next what will be the R value? We have to take R value in the kilojoule unit. So let us, that one is 8.314 kilojoule per kilomole Kelvin. Okay. So, you see here the unit K is Kelvin. That's why we change the temperature to Kelvin scale. So, here I can write 8.314. But here you see, here the unit is kg is there, and here unit kilomole is there. Okay, so how to change it? Okay, let me tell you. So you see, we have to change it to kilojoule per kg to kilojoule per kilomole. Okay, so this is what? Water. For water molecular weight, we know that it is 18 gram per mole. Or we can say 18 gram of water, it will have 1 mole equal to 1 mole of water. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then 1 gram of water is equal to 1 by 18 mole of water. Okay. Here in the question it is kg of water is there. Then 1 kg of water is equal to 1 by 18 kilomole of water. Okay. So now you can see this lambda or latent rate of vaporization, it is 2429.8 kilojoule per kg of water. So 1 kg means what? 1 by 18 kilomole. So we can write, so lambda is equal to 2429.8 kilojoule per kg of water. Per kg of water in place we can write per 1 by 18 kilomole of water. Okay. Then this is for 1 by 18 kilomole. Per kilomole how much it will be? So it will be 2429.8 into 18 kilojoule per kilomole of H2O. Okay, so now we can write lambda is equal to 2429.8 into 18 kilojoule per kilomole. Okay, or in simplify, if you don't getting this simple version, let us understand 2.9. Suppose it is kilojoule per kg is there. Okay, so we know that 1 kg of water, okay, 1 gram of water is equal to 18 mole. Okay, and 1 kg of water, sorry, 18 gram of water is equal to 1 mole. Okay, so 1 gram of water, 1 by 18 mole. 1 kg of water is equal to 1 by 18 kilomole. Here also we take kg, here we will take kilomole. Okay, so in place of 2429.8, top one is kg, below I put just 1 by 18 kilomole. Okay, so it will be nothing but 2429.8 into 18 kilojoule per kilomole. Okay, so I will put, let us put it, so 2429.8 into 18. Okay, then calculate and find the P20 value quickly. Okay, if you calculate this P2 value, it will come nearly equal to 0.199. Okay, you just calculate it. I already solved it in the notes. I will upload these notes. Please read it once again. Okay. So this P2 value, it will come around 0.199. 0.199 means around this one. Okay. So we validate for water. What is, how's the Clausius-Clapeyron equation is there, that we validate. Okay, the Clausius-Clapeyron equation is nothing but, it will give the relationship between vapor pressure and temperature. Okay, This is the relation. Please remember these things, very much important. And based on that, two numericals is there. One numerical I just discussed for water, how we validate, and another numerical is also there. You just try to, that is your homework. The solution is already present. Please read the notes, download the notes and read it. Okay, the updated notes will be downloaded. That I will update the notes and download it by today night. Okay, after 9 you can download the updated notes. Okay, is there doubt till now?
Sir, after 9 o'clock, you'll update the new version, sir.
Yeah. Before 9
Updated
o'clock, I
version?
will update.
Before 9 o'clock, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And next one question is, I already uploaded the assignments. Okay. I hope you see that. Just a minute, let me show you. Okay, chemical
Unit 2
process.
notes, that is.
Okay. Then I will Unit 1. You see, first one is introduction. Unit and dimension, all our things, conversion is there. Then this is the unit 1. This is the unit 1, all the theory, problems, everything is there. Then this new things I uploaded, that is the question bank.
Question bank.
Okay, please upload it down, open it. And here I solved many questions, many new type of questions. Okay, new type of questions are there. Their answer is also there. For the certain concept, 6 questions I solved. Next, this type of questions are of similar concept. That is your homework. You have to solve it. Okay. I can't solve each and every type of questions. Next is here assignment 1 is also I uploaded. Okay, this assignment 1 is 10 question is there. Please write it and solve it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. I will take in the offline classes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank
Sir,
you.
date you didn't say, sir, when Viva.
The date I will not tell. You have to prepare every class. I may take Viva any class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you.